All right. Hi, everyone. This is Daisy here, aka Professional High Priestess. It's super hot, so please just apologize. I apologize ahead of time. If I stop, get something to drink, wipe off my face, etc., because it is way too hot today. But we're gonna go ahead and do a tutorial, and this is gonna be a coding tutorial. But in this tutorial, I'm gonna be teaching you guys about a few things that have been going on that you guys need to know about. Before I even start that, I first want to say shout out to Kendrick Lamar for his music video, because in his music video, he exposes a specific alliance that he's involved in that exposed who ended up getting Nipsey Hussle, aka Ermias, as Gadam killed. So you guys don't know that that's a very serious thing that happened in LA for Nipsey to end up getting killed after he reunified a lot of communities. You guys hear about a lot of red versus blue. It's not really like that. It's about whose family are you involved in, because all of us have red and blue on either side. It really is like what sports team that you're repping, really. And this has something to do with the murder of Sam Cooke. So some of you guys don't know who Sam Cooke is. He made a lot of music. Some of the most iconic songs, oldies that you know of, is Sam Cooke, right? So I say that to say that there's like a lot going on in the ethers right now, because certain families that were involved in that and got involved with the feds to harass our community, they are getting caught up. And Armidas's death has something to do with the family that took the fall for Sam Cooke's murder, which started civil riots in LA and set up the music industry, which is coming back up again. So one thing that I wanted to just show you guys was what's this guy's name? I wanted to show you guys a specific YouTube channel. Here you guys go. Yeah, let it get caught. Okay, Swamp Stories. And then here's another YouTube channel that people need to look into, especially the vets, because who gave them all that information? So that's how you've been starting wars in the street. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, let's get started here. So I want to show you guys Swamp Stories. Yeah, causing a bunch of drama. Swamp Stories, what is this? How he caught 40 bodies. Okay, how are you guys getting all this like information? Okay, yeah, yeah. There's one about Swamp Stories. Let me see. I'm just gonna go ahead and click on this. Let me see if I can find it here. Bompton versus 400. Yeah, 400 versus Bompton. And this is like something that's getting started right now with like hood wars and who's leaking all this information and starting like unnecessary fights. What is this YouTube? Yeah. And the person that did that is works with the feds, and they're leaking a lot of this information. Bay Area Southsiders commit Father's Day murders. How do you know that? This is one of the reasons why they're doing a bunch of sideshows too, because of this YouTube channel that ended up getting exposed on my page. Like, who's doing this and like using this to set people up? So you got that off YouTube and you thought you were gonna charge me? Yeah, Marshawn Lynch, how his best friend got killed in Oakland because it was him that did it. Because Marshawn Lynch has a podcast coming out with Gavin Newsom. What do you mean? Yeah, Gavin Newsom. Like, oh, okay, let's play in the hood. Okay, yeah, but we have to get involved with them because of what happened with Daisy. You have to make it seem like none of this happened by aligning with ops. So, okay, that's also what you needed to see. That's going to start another war in Oakland. So that's how you guys were moving the whole entire time. That's how people were getting robbed for their cannabis. That's how this nigga kept on getting robbed and hit. It was Marshawn Lynch the whole entire time because you're not making money with the Raiders. So you're playing with white people and you know about this virtual reality because of Kendrick Lamar and how that went across the whole industry. And you think that you're gonna get a cyber truck for free. And you started so much shit that there's hella fucking wars going on in Oakland because of who you were robbing. Because how were you getting everybody's phone number? Little League, Little League football, a bunch of bullshit and getting into people's phones and causing a bunch of chaos. And hella shit is getting started with youth development hood, and they'll bring all the hood niggas out, and then we know who to rob because they'll start texting and going back and forth. Okay, thank you. So now you see, and then there's here, right? California rappers talking to Gavin Newsom about using lyrics against them. You guys need to go look into this and who was all like involved in this. Yeah, Too Short, Big Ass. Yeah, Tyga, Op, Ty Dolla Sign, Op, Meek Mill. Why are you getting involved in Gavin Newsom? That's before they knew. This is before they found out what Gavin Newsom was doing in their phone and in the hood. Okay, let's say we could tap her phone. They'll probably be in a or something like that. Let's see when they can get together physically. We'll use the platform to induce that. About that virtual reality platform, it also has a part of neural programming, like making suggestions and stuff like that off radiation. So now you guys see how this had gotten started with all the rappers and people playing with their phone and why this is happening right now. Okay. Wait. That's too much. That's too much. It's too much. It's in the Bay Area. Too much. Yeah. And there's a bunch of them. Like that I have on my phone. I screenshotted it. Yeah, look, back to back to back to back to back. Okay, okay. So now you guys see what had gotten started here, and then these stupid ass rappers went to go play with these white people, not knowing that behind the scenes they were playing in their phone and looking for people to traffic to play with clinical trials. Well, I heard from her that we need to target an iguana and an octopus. So let's see. Ask Daisy, put her in the virtual reality so she can like look into people in space because I can do that and see what like federation you're involved in, and let's see if that's gonna happen. That's not happening when people are dying. That's impossible for them to play like that. We are going to get information from her, and then we're going to make all these different businesses. That's not about to happen. Gavin Newsom's going to end up getting killed. I'm going to tell you right now, Gavin Newsom's going to end up one of two things is going to happen: either getting killed or going to jail for the rest of his life once he steps out of office. That's just it. Period. Yeah, because they're on drugs and shit like that. Now you guys see like the consequences of playing games. Like, okay, what the fuck type of like game is that though? Right? Why would you be playing with the governor? And I told stalking and harassing me, right? And they were starting all the shit. Like, oh yeah, yeah, I heard of them, but I didn't know that they were the one that started the virtual reality. All at once, they said, let's bring in the rappers, let's invite them, so that people don't think that we were like involved in like starting shit. So when Kendrick Lamar had that concert, Ken and Friends, and all the rappers and everything started coming out, that's why certain rappers weren't there because they were involved in trying to make deals and shit like that with white people, knowing for a fact that they were playing on our hood. Like, okay, not gonna get all of us, but let's see if we can survive. I never thought this could happen. Only to find out, like, oh, okay, yeah, but their computer's about to break because Daisy's not playing. Only to find out, like, yeah, but a bunch of niggas that we got beef with, they're watching and they have guns. Only to find out, yeah, but we're not gonna have any drug game or we're not gonna get anything because no one's gonna buy stolen weed. That has to go back to the people because of cannabis laws that we violated. And everyone knows that we were raiding certain companies, raiding people's grow house, and then we were selling it off through Stizzy. And everyone's going to just boycott Stizzy. And how is Stizzy building a bunch of cannabis clubs all over the place? And there's a bunch of laws and regulation that they're violating. Some of you guys know Stizzy. Yeah, they got one of these, like at least two or three. Okay, so now everyone knows what Drake was doing with that virtual reality. This is what they were doing. Now you see what the fuck they were doing the whole entire time. Drake, no, he's our muscle guy. That's how we're gonna get people to do the robberies and the killings and move the bodies. Thank you. So let's keep moving from that. Thank you, Kendrick Lamar, for doing that because you exposed something great. Now we're gonna move into playing with physics here. Okay, we're gonna be doing a coding tutorial. Now there's a few things that I need to show you before that gets started. Okay, it's just hot and there's a lot going on. I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning last night adjusting things across the planet. Um, Now, some of you guys are like, oh, well, how is it that you have a system that can do this? I have candles, there's voodoo, there's OBA. I'm sure that that will work. Those are all deactivated systems. They're not tied to anything. They're not activated by anything. A lot of you guys had resulted into getting into sex rituals with small children, playing with magic and playing with powdered bones because the herbs and shit like that that you're playing with don't work because they don't accept you. Okay, well, this doesn't work. Let's go over there. Because if the herbs work for you, why would you need to go into that? Who told you to tie somebody's body with herbs and then you were going to get magical powers or you're going to get things accepted by some like demon or something like that? Oh, we'll give it to the gods. What gods? And then only to find out about space holes, females in space with no melanin that are running around and playing with everyone's kids in space and making copies of their dream state and like trying to get magic activated and shit like that, only to find out that that's not what it was. It's because we were ops, and the only reason why we were getting things and surviving immigration and not getting caught with immigration raids is because we're ops in space and they had a technology talking in the ear of white people and then they were doing certain magic on them that is now gone. Okay, what magic is that? That magic is from a far off place and they brought it close to this place and it triggered an alert and they destroyed it all the way up. Right. So now for years and years and years, you guys have been playing with magic and you're finding out like, okay, now I see why its spells weren't really working. It's that they were doing certain things in space and now I see. Because everyone's heard about that and all at once they figured out what was going on. That somebody was playing like a bunch of games and starting a bunch of like unnecessary like hood wars in space. And that one of the things that they were suggesting is like, oh, you kill certain people, and then we use their body and their melanin as vector spaces to bring down discrete values. What does that mean? Basically, like, oh, you pass away, and then we can use you as a conduit to manifest. Why would you use me as a conduit to manifest when I'm right here? Oh, well, we just thought that maybe what sex torture chamber, getting your arm cut off, getting your head cut off and sold back onto your body backwards and getting walked all through space like that to show people what you were suggesting. That's what happens in space, and they go from planet to planet like as a brigade. I'm here just to show you what happens. And ever since there's something that they had gotten started playing with Palestine and something that they had got started playing with kids, it got very quiet. And then they said, okay, we're going to have to come out and unleash our own magic because it was a federation that created these hosts to go out and do their bidding. And they don't have much of anything. And the minute they came out, that's done. It was the banished Ethiopians. So now you guys are like, okay, so there's no more magic. It's no more magic. So now you guys are also finding out that it wasn't magic the whole time. It was nutrition. They planted magic in space on some of the plants, and then you guys were eating it, and that's what they were doing. So now you guys are finding out like, oh, okay, but the plant itself was getting hit with spell work because they were shattering the databases in between this galaxy, that universe, and that universe. So in one universe, the plant will say no, but in another galaxy, it would say yes, and then they just get thrown off the line and they have no more powers and it's deactivated. So there is nothing that they can do. There's absolutely nothing that they can do. There's no more magic. There's no more chaos that they can create. There's no more havoc that they can induce because that's officially done for. Okay. So I just wanted to let you guys know that this is like the type of game that they were like running in space. And that's why this has to get turned off because of this nature of what they were doing and trying to involve people's kids and saying that they were going to play with the sun and create proton interactions, invert our energy fields, invert our melanin, open up our melanin to be freeform, right? Like, oh, open internet, oh, open melanin. And that they would be using black and brown people with a certain charge in their melanin to basically bring down quantized um, energy. Like, oh, I can bring down any electricity, any type of substance, any type of coding, and that doesn't work, and that's not possible, and that's never fucking happened in space anywhere ever. They just got smart and goofy because they're on meth and drugs in space. And another thing that ended up happening here that's very important for you guys to learn is that these people, they didn't really understand like, oh, planet Earth, I didn't really understand how this place was working. You didn't tell me the true story. Because remember, they were recruiting different people to help them play. So I just had to keep on telling the backstory because remember, they are using a technology on white people where they're telling them, oh, you're special. You're gonna do this. You have to kidnap these children. You have to clean up. You clean up a certain number of people. You kill this. You do this to this child. You get these magical powers. And what magical powers? So then you guys see me sitting here breaking this all down. Am I playing with anybody's kids? Am I starting anything? No. I'm a high priestess in space and I have a specific charge in my melanin. Like, oh, well, that can be reduced. How? You don't have any melanin yourself. How the fuck are you going to play with somebody else? And this is where we talk about goofy ass shit from a goofy ass bitch that doesn't have shit. And you guys have to be careful with hoes that don't have shit because that's how you guys started the first round of this, playing with bitches on YouTube that didn't have shit. And we knew that they didn't have shit. And then they fooled us into one game, and now we're getting fooled by space hosts that don't have shit because they never had shit, right? So now, what's happening here is a bunch of people are getting caught with that intelligence scanner, that technology that they were playing with from space, playing with certain magic to make people have like, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you'll have this and that ability, but like I'm super schizophrenic and I hate my life and I'm suicidal, right? So they don't get much of anything. There's not much of anything that they get. They just get like what some bitch talking in your ear telling you that you're special, you're this and you're that. Where these hoes went left is where they started telling these men, oh, you're my mate. You have to divorce your wife. You can't have that girlfriend because you're my mate. Because what happened in space where these hoes went to go create the bodies of some of these men. And then they're on planet Earth and they're like, oh, my body lives in Texas. You're going to come rescue me and things like that. Why aren't you with me? You have a wife? Like, yeah, I have a wife. What are you talking about? No, I'm not going to date you. What the fuck? Yeah, stuff like that. And then they're flashing the face of like certain like brown colored people, not melanated colored people. And like, what do you mean that we're supposed to be together? That's Desiree. Yeah, but you're my mate. Yeah, shit like that in space because of how they were in space playing with white people, playing in the technology because they were created to do so. So now you guys are finding out like, ooh, so they know who they are on planet Earth. Yeah, because that's how they were playing. And this is getting exposed. You guys have no idea that the feds have tapped that technology. So every night they're sitting there watching these white men have conversations with a bitch in space about how they're special. They need to collect more children, go to this school, go to this hood, attack this person, harass this person, do this next, hack that computer, steal this music, etc. And it's done. So let's get started. It's just super hot. So now, okay, so we're gonna do a few things in this episode, okay? I just first want to give you guys a few songs because I like when I'm doing my work and coding tutorials. I just like listen to certain music and that I love. One is Marco Dassi Fractures. Marco Dassi Fractures. It's a really good song. Good song to have. It's have those two songs for you guys that like music and stuff like that, and you want something to like groove to when you're doing your meditations or like, why am I seeing myself in space like this and like we're fighting wars? Okay, then I need to learn how to be like equipped on planet Earth. So this is another good one, Bonobo Otomo. I want you guys to look into this too. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and listen to that song. So those are two really good songs for you guys to get into your flow. Um, and then for the Russians and stuff like that that are watching my channel, make sure you hack their computer, okay? So you can find beats. Okay. I also wanted to show the feds somebody that's going to end up getting caught up in this entire thing, which is this man here, Zen and Bao, Department of Chemical Engineering, Wearable Electronics Initiative. Okay. Chan Zuckerberg Biohub. Thank you. Right. Because you guys heard about the Zuckerberg biohubs, like, oh, you're opening biohubs in every city, and then everyone's kids are going missing. It's so funny. Look at this 37 again, like drama. Right. But this I just came across this because somebody kept on playing with me in virtual reality, like, oh, hey, I don't want any trouble from you. Meanwhile, this is the man that's doing this, and that's how I found this. Bell Labs. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Royal Society of Chemistry, Chinese Chemical Society. Yeah. Blank. Fentanyl. That's the biggest thing. Fentanyl. That if you get into his phone, whew, 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 baby, and you can make off. And you can make off. Yeah, I can promise you, you can make off. You want weed and shit like that? You're looking for white? They got it. They got supply. Okay. Right. So let's play with CERN. So I have some notes here. You can't see them. Let's play with CERN. What is CERN? So on March 13th, 313, CERN launched something called a particle accelerator. 313. Wait, hold on. Is that what that was about? I don't know. Because they kept on like playing with magic and shit like that. So I don't know why I'm seeing all these numbers like pop up and shit like that. But there was also some lady that got her baby switched at birth in Mexico. And she was like hella screaming, like, this is my birthday and this is my due date. And like one of the numbers was 313. And that really got taken care of by the feds like quickly. Speaking of children switched at birth, I have an update for you, proof of chaos later. But there was a major article put in the news with a database of 120,000 kids switched at birth and they found each other on Instagram. I told you that different surrogates that were getting implanted with twins and stuff like that, triplets, they were following me to the store in LA. No, if we go and we follow her, people are going to see this because they're virtual realities in her energy field. They won't punish us because they'll just know that like we were just around. We didn't start anything. So surrogates were following me to the store, to the mall, things like that, because they wanted to tell me about like what was going on with them getting trafficked and nonsense that was going on. So now it's in the media. I'm gonna do a proof of case about that, and I have pictures of the surrogates, which is how that got started, because they uploaded the surrogates and they found them in the virtual reality technology, and well, that was it for their location. So now let's go ahead and go into some of these things. Let's play with CERN. CERN has something called a particle accelerator. Now, what is a particle accelerator? Basically, they're saying that you can use a specific contraption and you can accelerate the creation of atoms, right? Well, basically, what they're saying is that this technology, this device, will basically put out this amount of energy right onto an existing particle, or it will help to create or bring forth certain particles of electricity, energy, etc., that we can then funnel into a different conduit, either maybe a step up transformer, an energy grid, or one of the old computers where they had to like tie up all the wires with the zero and the one to create the binary reality. Something that Julia is like a programming language. You guys should look into that and their entire team and why people keep on going missing around them, especially investigators or scientists of color. So now with CERN, there are several different particle accelerators, but there's even cosmic accelerators. Like they're just out in space, and they're made from like broken stars or different chemical reactions. But it's mainly different bitches that are putting different things down around this planet because certain magic has gotten like put on this planet that's locking certain chemicals. So out of radiation, you have uranium and plutonium, the main radiation chemicals. There's other chemicals that have the ability to be radiation based, like rubidium, right? Even sometimes neon. Those chemicals are completely locked in space. They're closed at the spiral valence. So what they're doing is they're bringing particle accelerators down here to try to overstimulate the radial probability distribution and then open up those chemicals. That's what CERN is all about. Like, how can we induce like illegal chemical reactions, like and like violate like laws of like physics and like laws of the universe, which are already like invalid. Like they're just like fucking stupid. They get involved in like sex rituals with like men sex rituals. Like, oh, if I do this, then it's gonna help my particles accelerate. Like, wow, I didn't know it was that easy. I'm just dark skinned and I mind my business, and then my particles are like super accelerated. So much so that I'm going to help you accelerate, right? So a particle accelerator is very dangerous for the human body. And one of the things that we have found out is that they were putting people inside of the particle accelerator, like, oh, and then we can turn them into a quantized state. Like, okay, we put them in the particle accelerator, which is like a hyperbaric chamber, hella pressure, radiation blasting through your entire body, where to the point where you are like forming holes and things like that in your body, right? It can kill you in an instant. And then they're taking those bodies and then using them in like spell work. Like, okay, then we can use this in magic. Now you know how several thousands of people went missing, particle accelerators, but you know all the laboratories that are doing that because they have a cyclotron, particle accelerator, or a synchrotron. Synchrotron. Okay. Yeah, different type of like tools because they think that this is like Ghostbusters or Inspector Gadget or Back to the Future. Yeah, they think it's a movie to play with black and brown people like that until I'm about to play with you. So you're about to find out that there's hood bitches in space and they talk just like this. And they were hood out there before it was to the planet. So how long has ebonics? It's not ebonics. It's called physics. It just means that I'm in a specific force. So now what's going to end up happening here is I'm going to give you new tools to play with your baby daddy. I love that the most. You see, I just want to say that. I wasn't involved, but I just, yeah. So particle accelerators. So now because of all the dark, let me just tap on my higher self real quick and just bring down the divination properly, aka the coding tutorial, because I'm going to give you guys a few things. Okay, now we know where to look, and then how do we stop XYZ files from being able to work that are tampering with the entire internet and creating leaks and holes by destabilizing the statistic that's in C++ that controls the flow of energy, that then controls static states, that then promotes an automation of certain code and certain lambda that allows for certain code to flow freely through the internet, and then playing with Kubernetes that's hosting these different like matrices that they're bringing down, aka tensor spaces. They tried to like build a tensor space in my brain and have like a classroom in there. And I was like, excuse me, like what the fuck are you doing? Like, oh, now we'll be able to learn. And this like that. You have to understand that what they did was very, very, very serious in space. It's completely forbidden everywhere. So because they ate corn or she ate pork when she was a young child, you made entire copies of the planet and the universe and the galaxy and then hid them in different places so that you can plant a classroom in her brain so that whatever she's learning or divinating on, you would be getting information because you have no melanin and you have no speech, aka magic or systems or anything like that. Yeah. So then you went and played with the white man and said that, oh, if you stalk and harass her, she'll have to give it to you because she'll get annoyed. Only to find out that I'm a bitch more delusional and more wicked than you. I'm the battered twin. And then I set white people up because I know about all this. Yes, physics and stuff like that, like physics and chemistry. I in college I majored in biology and then also to psychology and then public health. So it was like I saw a lot of this and I was like, okay, let me step my cookies up. And then oh, physics, okay, that's like really nothing. Like I see what you're doing. So now, what are we going to do with CERN? A particle accelerator? You're never going to break that. You need to know about the standard model, which I already fucking know about. What's the standard model? Okay, more diagrams. This helps me learn. I see, Daisy. I wasn't stupid. I was just, I was having too much fun, right? So, yeah, okay. And then putting code inside of Tensor, and then you're bringing down these specific like portals. Oh, quantized states. So, quantization is the process of mapping infinite values to a smaller set of discrete finite values. Like, oh, the human body can only be so hot in temperature. Okay, there's a specific statistic through homeostasis which says that your normal temperature should be like 98 point something degrees. Okay, and the way that your body can get like overheated, where they were doing conflict spells on people, is by bringing down a type of infinite value, a type of magic in space that has like infinite values. Like, oh, uh, you've seen me with some of this speech. Like I've been showing you guys speech. You get from the aquatic being and things like that. You have to ask them and you have to get accepted and all those different type of things. And they have a specific type of like value inside of their speech. So that's how you did that spell on yourself where you're finding shit for free. It's an infinite value that's in a finite like space. And then you put that on yourself and then it increases like your probabilities or your possibilities. Okay, so now we see what they're talking about with the melanin because melanin is infinite. So on the planet here, it doesn't matter like what type of melanin, like, well, you have charged melanin, so it doesn't really matter though. You are in an infinite state, period, because you have melanin that's charged. Now your mind can go beyond, and this is where you get a bunch of black and brown people that are hella creative and stuff like that, and people like Rihanna and other people that like can't make music anymore because they were stealing the whole entire time but there was magic put on them in space. But yeah, that magic is done now. They have to have the charge. We can no longer put magic on them to be rappers. That's a type of divination. It's called ear. There's a planet of ear, Guasanir, and that's how they rap. Like rapping has been going on for millions of years, like flows. Some of these songs that you're hearing now were created by like some of the solid rappers. They were created hundreds of years ago. Like, oh, this is my old music. I'm gonna just go ahead and give this my physical body and it'll have these flows. It's a type of divination. So we are an infinite value. So they thought by taking black and brown people, putting them in particle accelerators and certain machines, because I just looked up the synchrotron. I don't have money for that. I'm going to teach you how to build one on the computer with code and with candles. So now what's going to end up happening here is you now see like, oh, I'm infinite. My melanin, yeah, I'm not doing sex work no more. I'm not eating no more pork or beef. I want to be infinite because that means that my power is at its highest. That means I can do anything with spell work. I can do anything with math or physics, anything with code. So now you see why they were playing like that. Why some goofy ass bitch wants to go play in the computer, but it's them that have to command their melanin. Not a single white person. You need to tell me that you have no melanin, but you didn't lose it. You just have none, period. It's not even possible. And you want to play with the melanated being. And you're playing with the infinite source. So that means that there's certain things that are around that infinite source, though, because there's like the Heisenberg principle. Uh, there is the specific like wave and orbital forces of physics. Like if something gets off track or if something is not supposed to be, it will get readjusted, even if it's explosive, right? So you need to tell me that black people have a statistic on them, period. That if you play with us, we play with you. You play with them, you will get played with. And that's why certain shit is happening from space right now. You guys have seen it. Car accidents, Mexico on fire, a bunch of shit going on, hood hoes getting killed left and right because you went to one play. So white people now, how do I get melanin? Stick to what you know. Being a racist, right? Oh, you dark bitch, and you this and that. Stick to what you know, and I promise you, right, you will just win. So now, standard model. So the standard model says that beyond protons, neutrons, and electrons, these are the forces that make them up. Okay, I heard about that. Protons, neutrons, electrons, chemistry or something like that. My baby daddy used to sell weight, so I know a little bit about chemistry. Okay, so now you have all these different quarks, leptons, bosons, gluons, things like that. There's different ones, and they move in a certain fashion because these are basically like light words. They're made out of different substances, and then they make up protons and the neutrons, and then the proton and the neutron get together and they make up the nucleus. Ah, okay, the most elementary. Okay, this is what they're playing with the particle accelerator, thinking that they are going to be able to like change the world or do this or do that, or stop this or stop that, or cause this or cause that by playing with technology on the planet. And that's not possible. Why? Because of quantization. So the math that we're using and the code that we're using and even like electricity and chemicals, they have finite values. You need an infinite system, which I've been showing you infinite systems to go ahead and do that. Well, how do you know that your system's infinite? Because it's from space and I'm not banished and I have melanin and it's connected to a specific DMT spectrum and different type of electrical spectrums, etc. And I'm a Virgo. So that means that there's something that's going to be a constant. But I'm a real Virgo. Like, oh, I have that in my chart. No, I'm a real one. Aaliyah was a real Virgo. Yeah. So she had a Virgo moon. So there's something too about us being of a specific federation and having a specific charge and why they're targeting certain people. Mario Franco was a Virgo. Thank you. So now, what's happening here is individuals are finding out, like, oh, I was playing with this. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna put a specific magic on white people that are playing with the technology. Good. So now quantization, right? Okay, so that means that in the computer, we can go ahead and use these different symbols and we can bring down infinite states. So that means that we can edit our computer, bring down coding languages and things like that because we're playing with symbol systems that indigenous people run and they're connected to the infinite. See, you're playing with white people that are playing with math and physics and science, and this is the height of it. This is like basic. This is what our kids are like. Oh yeah, we use that when we don't want to get a whooping. We cover ourselves in these buttons, and then we're more light, and then our mom doesn't really see the magic that like we're playing with on her, which was what my daughter did, and then we can get treats and not get whoopings. This is like what kids play with, like, oh yeah, my I'm going with my guacatazi. We have a battle on another planet. It's just for fun. We're just testing their skills. So I'm gonna go ahead and play with their photons and play with their bosons, and then I'm gonna play with the Higgs field around them, and then they will be amplified in their force field. I told you they were playing with these kids and playing with their homework. But it was a long strategy. Like, oh, these kids are gonna form this body because of this war. Let's give them video games and shit like that in space and give them certain homework so that we can then try to have these little bodies activate this magic so we can try to use it for the pale one. So you mean to tell me that white people thought that they were gonna get some like crazy magic to take over the world and do this and this that? All they got was AI, which is all people of color, their work in a automator, which is super easy through like Python and things like that, like, right? And come to find out that those kids cursed the fuck out of them. So then they waged war on those kids on planet Earth and said, molest them and rape them and do this and do that, only for you to get caught in something so vicious that a bunch of white people are dying. Thank you. And it doesn't work. Never. And you're not activating anything. Not a single fucking thing. So Heisenberg principle. So that there's an inherent uncertainty in the act of measuring a variable of a particle. So if that's true, then how do you know that this is true then? If there's like an uncertainty in measuring particle. So now do you see like ass backwards, like literally like, oh yeah, I'm like so busy trying to like stick my dick in other men and like build brotherhood that like I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing and like we're saying that we're power. Hey, I don't want to hear about this bullshit no more, bitch. And I don't want to hear about it from you and I don't want you around me. So now we move forward. Like, okay, now I see what's going on. It's all the people that are playing with this, and they're playing with QED. QED, quantum electrodynamics, which is one, but also, yes, color. So wait, quantum chromodynamics. Quantum chromodynamics. Quantum chromodynamics is the interaction of quarks and gluons. You guys just saw those different particles. Like, oh, okay, you put this together. One of them rotates up, one of them rotates down, one of them rotates in strange, meaning I don't know the relation. One of them rotates in charm, I don't know, but it just works and it activates something. Oh, that's what they named them. That's what how they named them. And then I get neutrons, and then I get protons or even photons, and then they collaborate to make the nucleus of atoms that then build all the way up to make a human body. Okay, so we're made out of light, but then if you're melanin, you're too light, right? Right. So now, like I said, you wanted to be sick and lit. Well, now you're sick and lit, right? So now something's happening here. Like, oh, okay. So that's how this is working. You only people that are melanated can activate these systems. So we got caught red fucking handed playing with rituals, and there's a black tier that's blacker than black, right? That's setting us up and letting the feds know what we were doing, and then they're searching on a specific tool that they have where they can type in certain things and they can find our manifesto, which they've done. They found at least 6 of them. Chromatography. Okay. Yeah, let me see. Japanese. Yeah, it's like a Japanese man that like went ahead and invented this. I'm gonna get his name because there's something that's on with this chromatography gluons, the founder of it. Let me just pull him up real quick. hmm Color states. Yeah, so each one of them is a color state. So I'm going to pull this up one more time about the standard model. So each one of them has a color and it's a color of light. Wait, what the hell? So that if you put different colors together, you get a specific light. That means that you get a certain type of electron, proton, or neutron. So it's all down to color. What? Yeah. Wait. So then I'm looking at myself. I'm melanated. I'm dark skinned, but it doesn't matter how dark or my melanin is, as long as I'm like not mentally ill. It has a charge. But I'm also darker in different spaces in space. Like in one place, I'm like this is considered light skinned in space. Okay, okay. Even some of you guys, like I'm indigenous, I'm darker skinned, but I'm like light skinned, but I'm considered dark in space. Oh, okay, I see. So now, um, this Abdus Salam, his family's gonna get caught the fuck up playing in India and playing on everyone's farm and starting a bunch of shit. This is like the biggest thing that needs to come out. And then there's another man that started like a lot of this. I'm going to show you because they have like some like society that they built after him. And people go for like interviews like, oh, welcome to our fellowship. Okay, but this is like a small office here. I thought you guys had like a particle accelerator and you guys were doing this and you were doing that. What ended up happening? And they're using it to like kidnap people. Thank you. And I need to show the feds this because this is very serious. Thank you. For the feds, make sure you get everybody that's coming into my chat so that you can go ahead and trace into their computer and find the different pedophile groups that they're involved in. They've caught like six of them already. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to tie when people like that you just play, I'm going to tie your atom to a particle accelerator. But first, I'm going to induce like nuclear fission, right? Which is like the splitting up of your atoms so I can have more atoms to play with. Then I'm going to put an energy field around you so that you like attract more like photons to your energy field. But I want to induce proton proton interactions with the sun. So I'm going to use you as like a walking battery to power up magic and stuff like that that we need because I want my nails done and I want to find more like Nikes and things like that, right? So now what's gonna end up happening here is other people need other things too. There's somebody her baby daddy needs to like get hit. Put that on the list. Like, how do I just do that? I just write like I want this to get put onto like the database. Just call it the Quizinaire, or just say the magic database, and it goes straight to that database because intention is a chemical sequence and intention is light. Okay, so that's how you know who to hit in space, and that's why they're never incorrect with who they hit, and they're never incorrect with like their predictions. So statistics is trash. It's trash. You could just divinate and find out kurtosis for what, right? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie you to a specific crystal that's tied to several millions of particle accelerators all throughout the universe and galaxy and all on the planet. So instead of the particle accelerator like creating energy or facilitating certain reactions in the laboratory, it's going to be tied to a specific crystal force and you're tied to that crystal force. And then your particles are getting accelerated, right? And then those reactions that we put on your body in the last training that we did on chemistry, it's getting accelerated. Yeah, but you just felt it though. Good. So get the fuck off my channel. Thank you. So now let me go ahead and pull this up with this dude that was playing in Asia because people need to see about this society and like what they're starting. Like, what the hell? Okay. Yeah, quantum chromodynamics. Quantum chromodynamics. I'll just add it real quick. Yakawa Institute for Theoretical Physics. Yakawa. Yakawa Institute for Theoretical Physics. Because it's just a theoretical, like theoretically speaking. Hypothetically, of course. Hmm. What happened to this page? Oh, there it goes. Because I just followed this last night. So here you guys go. Here you go. This is like a major plug for the feds. Okay, great. Right. Okay. So some of you guys have heard like, okay, I want to do that scientific thing too. You don't have to like really like know how to do all these things. You just listen to what she's saying and it's already set up for you. Something called speech, like those geometric things that you're using, you can just like pull them down. But some of you guys need to get activated. Okay, yeah, I keep on seeing this fish and she keeps on talking to me. That's your companion. Okay, let's get started. Okay, sorry about that. It's like a bunch of shit going on the internet. So this place here, I'm gonna go ahead and show you my screen. Here. Okay, good. We're sharing screen. Here we go. Yukawa Institute for Theoretical Physics. This is the man, that's okay. This is the man that went ahead and started like a lot of this bullshit. But if you guys go ahead and you look at all the different people that are like a part of their like organization, these are all fake LinkedIn profiles. This dude needs to get set the fuck up too, though. Oh, Department of Energy, yeah, playing with chemical servers, giving people information, letting people host their startups and stuff like that on there, causing a bunch of chaos. Yeah, playing with people's kids. I want a girl. Bring me a little girl. Yeah, playing with people's kids, starting a bunch of shit. Thank you. If you catch these two, that's it for like all the drama. And then also Julia, the programming language. Yeah, Julia, the programming language. Tensor packages, no. Tensor read string encoding. Let's see, UTF. Mhm. Okay, and there's certain UTF symbols that they have here on Julia, and then also another site that I'm going to bring up. They work together, and if you go ahead and you handle this, you can find okay because you need to put certain symbols into the tensor. When you're playing with TensorFlow, when you're doing coding, you need to put in certain symbols. That's what brings down a specific matrix that allows you to then like to people's website or put certain coding encoding in there where you're able to like bypass certain restrictions on the internet. So this is how they've been doing it. Okay, so that simple thing that you're using, this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. Yeah, gamma, delta. Ooh, okay. Now let me show you what they're going ahead and they're doing. Um, yeah, tensor product. Let's see if they have an example. Yeah, like different equations like this. Aha, now we see, okay, so this is what they've been doing. And that's why it was very dangerous when I pulled this up and started playing with Odinani. Because, like, okay, they have their own, though. So they can do their own, right? And it has nothing to do with sex rituals, playing with people's kids, or building like brotherhoods where you guys are all having sex with each other. Like, oh, no, that's okay. Yeah. And we can code. Yeah, let's code. So now what's going on here, right? But you just wanted to go run with, like, I'm going to get me a Russian and it lit up your whole hood. Yeah, but they're like weird and disgusting. Like, I don't know if I can do this, right? Wow, you have a limit. Damn. Never thought I'd see the day. Gluons carry the color charge of the strong interaction. So you need to tell me that there's particles of light that carry like color, and then by carrying color, they can move energy around. So there's energy and color. Wait, hold on. What's going on with all these different like colors that they're feeding all these kids? And that's why they're acting a fucking fool because some bitch in space is with a chemical server and then trying to use the kids, their extra energy, right, to activate certain magic, and it doesn't work like that at all. Scamming energy pyrism, it doesn't work in space. It's completely illegal. And that's why some of you guys are going to get hit with that. So that's why you're shy white people and you're tying them to particle accelerators, which I'm going to do in mass now. Repeat, go. And it's opening up our atoms and splitting up our atoms so you have more particles to charge up magic. Yeah, because I needed like to clone you. And then you're tying us to like different servers of spiral chemistry by tampering with hydrogen in the nucleus of our atoms. And then you're tying that to photon photon or proton proton interactions with the sun. You're tying us to helium and hydrogen that the sun is making so you can bring more energy down through our bodies. Isn't that like radiation? Yeah, it is. But we can still use that. And then you're saying that we're going to get sick because I feel this in my body. Yeah, you did. So now what's happening here is that the particle accelerator is going to invert and break, and then we get put into the particle accelerator. Yeah, you do. So now you can make copies of us. I can. And I can put copies of you, just databases, inside of the particle accelerator. And then because I have a specific speech or magic system that brings down infinite states, I can tie a symbol to you, just putting it over your head. And then what ends up happening is I don't need to be in there physically for me to feel that I'm in a particle accelerator. Why do I like that? I can like barely walk already. So now the particle accelerator goes ahead and then it uses my chemistry as a quantized scalar, meaning like a temperature, like 0 to 100. My foot size, 0 to this size. My height, 0 to this size. I can only be so big. It can only be so much. Right. So I'm going to use your biochemistry and we're going to split up your biochemistry. So that looks like, let's look at nitrogen. Yeah, we make nitrogen when we go pee. And there's something called the urea cycle. And then ketosis, when you break down fat and use it as an energy source, a nitrogen or urea is a byproduct. I'm going to go ahead and overactivate that nitrogen because I need like more like oomph and combustion for our spell. Somebody just found out they just got a job. Hey, congratulations. So now what's happening here is okay, you're going to use the nitrogen in our body from those different cycles, and then you're going to play with the nucleus and you're going to overactivate the standard model, aka quarks, aka photons, aka gluons, and you're going to start tying us to different servers. So now, how do we make sure that this magic goes to us, all their energy? Well, we have a database that's already going. We have the spells already going. We just go ahead and write a spell and say that this is going to then translate over here to manifest this. It's super easy. It's like a light string. Like somebody put their piece of hair, like, oh, just use a piece of my hair and you can like make copies of it and then make it like put it into a different shape. And then it'll be like a spiral, a conduit from their energy field to this database system that you're like running. The kids, that's how they power up their video games. Like they use their mom's hair. But I don't have any battery left. Yeah, you're getting the ass whooping though. You call my whole head. Yeah, but the battery doesn't work. My son made a copy of my head so he can use my hair to make video games turn on. Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, whoa. Come here. You don't know about this, but I already know that you're doing something. Woo. I have a question for you. Right, yeah, that's kids. So now you just find out that this is kids. Wait, what? And we spent thousands of dollars and hundreds of years trying to figure this out, and all we got was bombs, aka Oppenheimer and Heisenberg, and Red October and Hitler, which is why you don't have anything. Because we never put time or energy into bullshit like that. And Hiroshima. So now what's going to end up happening here is we clearly see that, okay, gluon, it's a massless. If it's massless, then what type of system are you using to accurately assess the scalar quantity? Oh, it's some hole in space, she told us. Oh, okay, so that's what you're doing. You're giving them the answers. Yeah. How do I sign up for that? You go and sign up and you have no melanin and you die. There's no such thing. And they're giving them inaccuracies. They're just telling them like the little of like what they've done and fracturing and splitting themselves off. Because a lot of you guys are going to find out. So you need to tell me that a lot of this light that's on the planet and a lot of the different quarks or gluons and things like that that are fueling the proton, neutron, and electron, it's somebody that fractured and shattered herself up and said, you can use this as an energy source. And then she ended up getting binded and enslaved in that. So when you're talking about certain light on the planet, like indoor food that's grown indoor, cannabis that's grown indoor, it's like basically like the DNA of some bitch that's made out of light. It's like your light body. Like all of us have like light bodies, like light wars and stuff like that. So like the kids, they go into their light state. And I got a colorful aura, like I got neon guts. Dark energy, we don't touch. And I got a colorful aura, like I got neon guts. Like the kids, like they hear songs like that, because you know that beat is lit. And they go into their light body. It's really nothing. So she had a light body and she gave it up because they some shit and she was having sex with like somebody she shouldn't have been fucking with. And he enslaved her and then said, okay, well now we need this so we can program this chemistry system on the planet so that we can have chemicals and we can live in the chemicals and we will survive and escape, right? So you need to tell me that we're basically like, ooh, what else is in the food? Because I haven't heard about cows and chicken to see that. So the light that we're just using, a lot of you guys are protected from it. Like, oh, that's nothing. It's just like we're on the planet and we're absolved from it. That's why I want my physical body to like live out in the sunlight. And now you see like, yeah, there's like a certain light, like ultra fluorescent light. And like, I can't focus when it's on. So it's like scattering me because she's like, oh, look at you here. Let me see if I can play in your energy field. Oh, you ate this certain food and she's been fractured, GMOs and stuff like that. I can play with her. Okay, she's getting put into the particle accelerator too. No more GMOs. They just won't grow the crops. Thank you. So now you guys have seen like on the most fundamental level, this is what they were doing and what they were insinuating, that they were going to use black and brown people as tensor spaces and as particle accelerators and got smacked out with magic. So we're destroying light functions of your photon. So that's done. Initiate. I'm breaking up your particles and I'm putting a copy of them in it into the particle accelerator. And then I'm needing, we went ahead and did like proton interactions. We did some nuclear fission. It takes years to do that. No, it doesn't. It's like a single spell. We do it all the time. That's why you're dying, right? Okay, so then we have more atoms, but you can make some of those atoms lose or gain electrons or gain energy. So that means some of these atoms that you're putting into fission, we're producing, you can then turn into radiation or turn into other particles to help people get better. Yeah, because what if you can go and do nuclear fission of my healthy cells and then I don't have to go through radiation anymore through a chemo? Right? A white woman. Okay, yeah, but mother said that we're supposed to be getting that. Why, bitch? So now what's going to end up happening here is, okay, white people are completely destroying the chemistry field, the medicine field, because they use radio pharmacy, like where you mix different radioactive particles with pharmaceutical drugs, and then say, oh, okay, this is going to like go ahead and like infiltrate their cells by playing with the orbitals, and then they'll be able to get into the nucleus and rewrite the nucleus or bring this chemical compound in and try to make the body healthy. That's why chemo's like it's hit or miss because you get sick from chemo even though it's supposed to make you better. So we can use this for medicine, but white people think that they're gonna like force you into giving them something so that they can go clout chase. And this is indigenous. Ooh, whoa, right? So now what we're going to do, we're going to reduce and invert the strong force that they use. And then the strong force basically is saying that this is what keeps all these different atoms and everything together. After you get your gluons, your quarks, and things like that, I have one that's better for the kids. Standard model. There's like a better one for the kids, and it has like little plushies. That's cute. Let me see if I can find it. I have it. Let me see if I can find it on here again. They may have taken it off because one of the things that they do is they have all this tapped. So when you Google this and things like that, like they play in your computer. And that's why white men think that they're special because like, oh, I got like this random email invite because oh, we hacked their computer. So I'm schizophrenic and a sociopath, right? And I have no melanin. Oh, standard model plushies. I think I'm going to be able to find it. Yay! Yeah, standard model plushies. Yay! Okay, good. I found it. It's called the particle zoo. So you can learn all about all this and like you can teach your kids like what makes up your hair. Two lutons and two quarks, two leptons and two quarks. Okay, very. What makes all these stick together? Okay, a photon, a gluon, and a Z boson. Very, very good. What helps initiate radiation decay? Oh, that's like when radiation dies, the bad chemical dies. What helps with that? That's the Z boson. It carries the weak force and then it tampers with the orbitals of the atom and then it dies. This is kids' their homework in space and they're like 5 years old. And you're talking about this is what you learn in your PhD in physics. So another thing why people are doing, playing with the education system. Got it. Thank you. Because you really have no clue. Like instantly you're done for. Nuremberg trials? Why? There's guns in the hood and the cartel. So now what's getting started here is people are finding out like, okay, you are going beyond. Some of the agents want to go to sleep, but they're like captured into this because there's certain things that you need to hear for work tomorrow. Like who's playing at the Department of Energy and who's bringing in this through C++. There's something that I'm going to also show you that's going to help you like eliminate everything. Your AST, show me your frame base. Right, right, AST in code. What's AST? Show me your frame space, right? Abstract syntax trees. So you can go ahead and put in different commands in C++, Fortran, and then it will show you the model of the entire program. So that means that it will separate all the different files into different libraries and things like that, all the different folders and programs into libraries, and then I can easily search through and find out who's attaching different code for Kubernetes where. Yeah, tell me how much I fucking know. Tell me if you want to go toe to toe. Let me know if you're ready for war. I can go blow for blow, period. So now what's about to get started here in this is now you see a smart hood bitch is a dangerous hood bitch is a wicked one too. Now, this chaos that's going to get started here is people are going to find out abstract syntax trees. Okay, because they're paying me for something on my job, but we can pull this up and we can say that, okay, but I want you to put this in and I want to see all these different files and I want to see where you're putting in the hacking code and where you're bringing in code for tensor spaces. And I have some notes about that too. Coding tutorial, okay. Automatic function parameters and bringing in different lambdas. And there's a few things that I had in C++, like a few notes that I had about that. And where I'm bringing in Amazon Web's AWS Lambda, right? And then where I'm bringing in specific loops that are not loops. It's like something called, can I do a loop inside of a loop to break the loop? Animal crackers in my soup, monkeys and rabbits, loop-de-loop. You guys know that it's like Shirley Temple. I used to watch that all the time. You guys remember this channel where they had like old westerns? I had nothing to do when they had USA Channel 48. Thank God I'm going to be able to go back to that and watch TV. And they had Shirley Temple coming on. I used to watch all those. and singing little songs. And that was one of her songs. So that's like how I like taught myself code a little bit. Animal crackers in my soup, monkeys and rabbits, loop-de-loop. And that went really far because the animal was playing in space in the computer and playing with magic. Okay, this I've seen, I heard, right? So a nested loop is a loop statement inside of another loop statement to deactivate the entire loop. So they'll never know that we like created a bunch of holes in their system. India and why everyone's getting killed. So I'm not smart. No, you're not smart at all. You're white, which means that things and they're not true. Yeah, yeah. Whoa, back to back. Whoa. Me and Drizzy back to it's getting heavy. If you fucking want my options, don't come near me. Right. So now there's chaos going on because people are fucking dying. So let's keep on going. In Ethiopia, you've already seen it. You've already seen it in the Asian community. What do they say? Woo. Yeah, trying to get him deported. Yeah. Whoa. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those hands were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening because they were fighting and going toe to toe, blow for blow on that plane. You're the one that started this with Mingwan. It was you that started. Yeah. Going back to China, you land there, you have to deal with Brother Asuko, the hood Chinese. Yeah, tatted up and everything. Not playing with you. You're playing in the computer. You want to play like that in China? You're talking playing with radio frequencies and spying on my brainwaves? Like, whoa. The judge ain't whoa. DA ain't whoa. That's you guys know Black Rob? Yeah, he passed away, unfortunately, Cheong. But he has a music video, Whoa. That song like whoa. 150 miles, 150 miles going, something like that. But he was talking about something like some high speed chase that they had gone on or some shit like that, and they ended up getting caught playing with the Daily, or some nonsense like that in that song, and then the music video exposed something else. But it was like those specific like lyrics that ended up getting this all like started because somebody got smart and they said, "Oh, let's go play and see if we can find some of his old music." Park Place Hotel in Chinatown. It's not really called Chinatown. It's called Flushing in New York. And somebody wanted to go follow me there with that sound technology. And that's how this Black Rock fuckery got started. 100 miles an hour switching lanes, like, whoa. Now I'm Doc Strange in the range, like, whoa. Oh, I remember those lyrics. And they went to go play with somebody's producer and start a bunch of shit. They put magic on the Dream Machine. Are you paying attention? They upload it. Like, oh, things that we don't want people to see or hear, like they upload it there and then like it's like a like chemical frequency that like plays in your divination channel. So like this is not the song. These are not the right lyrics or some shit like that. It's like games that they play. And then people are like rap like I know my own lyrics. Like that's how they were playing with some of these rappers. Thank you. Yeah. That's how far that went. That's why this is happening. Yes, Flushing. Park Hotel, Flushing. Yes, they started hella shit. Yes, bitch, you started way too much shit, and people are still talking about this because they followed me there. Okay, so yeah, whoa. So now, radio probability distribution. Okay, wave functions. That's too many numbers, and I'm getting uncomfortable. Don't pay attention to it. It's okay. Just leave it alone. I'll handle it for you. So now, the judge ain't whoa. DA ain't whoa. Yeah, that's over. So now, yeah, something just got exposed. Well, you stop playing games. Radio probability distribution. This is the middle of an atom. This is like the nucleus here, and then it says that the atom will go ahead and expand into specific shells. It's actually a spiral, etc. And no one knew that until I said something about it, and everyone's like, "Oh, this new discovery. Yeah, I know about Daisy. Oh, Miss Olsen. Yeah, we know about her." Yeah, that's embarrassing. It fucking is because no one wants that heat because they saw me use it in spell work and said, yeah, that's something that we shouldn't be touching because we created religion and then try to force them into it. Yeah, they're not going to be happy to see that white people are playing spiritual like that. This is the last war. It's going to be spiritual. So now You're gonna act as a vector because I want certain things. So you're gonna use me as a vector to bring down a certain substance. Yeah, I've already started. So the way that that works is we've already set you up with a particle accelerator. We've already set you up with nuclear fission. Now we're going to set you with nuclear fusion. So there's a bunch of particles that are all out in the environment. Like you blasted a bunch of icky stuff on the planet. Like, ugh, right? Like this is like bad for my hair. My like wig is all getting like all like ratted up and shit like that. What the fuck? And I just paid like $100 for this. This is Bobby Boston rummy hair. Yeah, that's really not okay. That's really not okay. That's expensive. Okay, yeah, I've heard of those weaves because we were like watching you and we saw it, right? So now what's going to end up happening here is we need peace on the planet, and the animals are tired of like the beef because it's impacting the crystal that these animals have in their head, and it helps them like move different places and detect food. Like there's food like 20 miles away, we will go, and then also sing with fish being able to have like radars and sonar detection. Like there's an enemy near me, and because we were blasting those on the planet and we kind of knew about it and we're playing with sonar waves in the ocean to play with a bunch of aquatic people, it started something with traffic where we started finding all these blue lobsters. Yikes, 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 yikes. Yeah, you're not eating that at all, baby, at all, at all, at all. So now what's going to end up happening here is these are going to just let people know that seafood eating is done. Yeah, that's kind of fucking weird. Why would I eat an orange one if then the blue one? And one is the higher self. So they trafficked me to the planet. Yeah, I ate lobster once in my life. I'm sorry. He's so sweet. He's so cute. Yeah, this high priest. It's unfortunate. Yeah, he knows me in space too. Of course, I joined. Why could you? You ate me. What? You even added seasonings, and why? He just couldn't understand because I didn't know about seafood trafficking, aquatic being trafficking. I didn't know that they're psychic. The blue ones are a poison warfare. That means that there's absolutely a specific poison that has been created to get rid of an enemy. Okay, and this one means that there's a specific portal that absolutely has been opened that would one day lead to the ocean getting stabilized. And the orange ones means that there was absolutely a war that was fought and that was won in a different dimension. So because that happened in the ocean, these started popping up. So now people are starting to find out like you're playing with the animals like that. Okay. And they're cursing you with magic. So this high priest is actually going to be the one that we play with. So all those different atoms and particles that are in the sky and getting blasted towards the planet, we're going to use you as a vector space because we've amplified how many atoms you have in your body per mass, and they're not open for you to do anything else. Like, oh, maybe I can use extra atoms to power myself up and do this. Only we can do that. Because remember, I did this spell on you, so you can't do anything with that. Which is some bitch in space is gonna have to tell you, like, oh yeah, well, if they cast a spell that they have to unravel it, no one can get them to unravel it. And even if they say that it should be unraveled and you force them, it will actually like increase. And that's what happened to us, and that's why we have no one in. Whoa, space magic, space magic. Yeah, you got your hand wrapped up in white light, baby. Real ass whippings. So now what's going to happen here is we're going to go ahead and we're going to tie all the extra atoms, particles that we made to the radiation particles that are like all out. But I'm going to put a Higgs boson field around you, right? So how do you know that these atoms will then end up fused together? That takes a lot of energy. Well, we have like light particles because I told you about the bugs that they play with shellac. Shit. And we mix them with different colors. I heard about that, right? Remember I told you guys about the different bugs that they like mix with shellac to make your nails and make your acrylics and stuff like that, and make color for red velvet cake and make candy. They own the color spectrum. So I'm just going to talk to this high priestess and get a match over there to play with you. And there we got gluons, different colors. Okay, this is like very complex, and I don't think that people should be playing like that. Well, let's go. So now you need to tell me that they own colors so that they can go ahead and they can over amplify gluons. They can just manifest gluons from nowhere in our body, or take the gluons that we have, make them like go into a fission state, and then fuse them to the particles around of radiation so that you turn into like a walking um, catalytic converter. where you're like absorbing like fuckery from the air. Can't that make us sick? Fuzzy. So let's continue. If you feel that, or some of you guys may feel like, yeah, ooh, I feel like particles like leaving all around and all the radiation on the planet is getting cleaned up and white man's gonna have to eat it. Ooh, they were told you bring it here, you eat it, because how do you get rid of it? Well, it's called alpha and beta decay. Yeah, but it takes like hundreds of years. Well, you guys have a speech. They will say that you guys allowed it on the planet, but you brought it here. It doesn't work like that. So these souls thought that they were going to bring radiation down here and that we would be forced to clean it up. And that they would then try to give white people our system and say, well, you have to give them this and you have to give them that for what? Why? Actually, I have a question. Who cloned you in the first place? Because aren't you in the do? I put you in a sex culture chamber, and I know for a fact I cut off your leg and fed it to you. How did you get another body? Yeah, I don't want to get cloned again. Yeah. So now, what's going to end up happening here? Yeah, they did. Yeah, treacherous in space. They don't care. These little girls in space. You wanted to bring my mom down to the planet to hope. I'm gonna help you hope. And these little kids got chambers, like very wicked, very evil and demonic. So, yeah, my daughter's in space. Good, right? Yeah, my son. Hey, and then I have my mom and dad in me. Who I got brothers and sisters. Let's get it cracking, right? It's a family affair, right? So you just tell them what you need, and you just have to acknowledge them. Like, let's go. So now, what we're gonna go ahead and do is use this shellac bug color. That makes sense that we are cooking them, and then they own the color spectrum because we're using them to make like candy and oh, colors. So these little particles, okay, the plushies, they're different colors. And then one color mixes with another color, and then they try to get white to bring down light. So at the end of the day, chemistry is built off color. So now I see, Daisy, when you're doing your little coding on the computer, why you're changing it to different colors because you're bringing down quantization. Okay. Yeah, you want to stay far away from me, baby, especially on a hot summer day when I'm not fucking playing. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a Higgs boson field around white people so that it changes like all their quarks, all their leptins and things like that. Like because I need you like all the way opened up, like spread them. Because I need you to open up so I can add some more like particles and shit like that. There, we need purses, shoes, and clothes and houses. So now, yeah, some people are about to find out about really good opportunities too. There's another spell. I find out about the good opportunities I can get access to. Like, yeah, ideas, I need housing. Put yourself on that list. I find opportunities for housing and stuff like that and support. Okay, I don't want to tell you about this, but like you seem really eligible. It's like a few things that you have to do, but I can get you in. Okay, this is not a hotel. It's like you have your own kitchen. It's like a studio. Me and my two kids will be fine here. You're gonna get it. I'm gonna show you something and say it. Yeah. So another thing that they did too was playing with our eyes because how our eyes process the color spectrum. Like, oh, if they process the different chemicals and things like that through light, not sunlight, through like looking at something with like the lamps and things like that, we can make copies of their eyes. But there's divination channels in eyes, which is how I can like read any language because it's like a divination. Okay, so we ran through like some crazy, crazy, crazy things. It's the height of chaos. You never know because you can do all that. Can you get that when you do all the fusion and you're splitting and you're forming all the atoms together? How do you make sure that they can go ahead and fuse? You need energy. It's called a reflector, and that's where the nitrogen comes in. So if you guys have a bomb or even fireworks, a reflector is something that when all like the different atoms are getting created, a reflector don't go back into the original atom and refuse. Stay single, stay apart, and then multiply again. I'm breaking all of that. All of it's broken. So, okay, what they started on the planet playing with particle accelerators and putting people of color in it, putting seeds and all that stuff in it, and then giving it to people on their farm and stuff like that. Like, oh, so now one of the things that we're going to do is, yeah, but the radiation will decay. No, we're going to head and we're going to stop alpha and beta radiation at decay. So our body just naturally has like systems to like break down radiation. That's going to get stopped in the white man that's playing like this. And remember, I'm going to fusion, and then I'm going to tie you with the skull of the shellac bugs to the color spectrum. So that means that you have like an unlimited amount of gluons to play and like tie us to different particles, the atom of radiation particles, and then we act as like a vacuum to clean up all the radiation and all the chemicals that we blasted on the planet. Good. Craziness is going to ensue. So I'm going to bring down 1 million billion trillion demons, played with all of your atoms, and I've fused you, and I've gone into proton-proton interactions, and I've brought down a specific nuclear force into your body by bringing down, at treating you as basically to clean out all the fuckery in the planet. There's a demon that will get triggered. Like, why is this going on the planet? Why are you so dark? Why are you so treacherous? But then in the particle accelerator, I've already put you in all the particle accelerators on the planet. Ozak. So you like get sucked into a particle accelerator, but then the particle accelerator is tied to a specific vacuum. That's like basically like using the particle accelerator to charge the vacuum power up. And it's also like a black hole. It's called a portal, a vortex and a portal. And it's basically sucking you into like a black hole into nothingness. So as you are sucking in all the chemicals, that vortex is like sucking you in, and the particle that right, right. I didn't tell you that I wanted you to play with me, but so you're playing. No one told you to hack my computer. Now you're starting to learn. You play with me, I play with you. You try me, I try you. Right? Toe for toe, blow for blow, round for round, it's done. So now let's get started here. What's going to end up happening here is okay, yeah, but the particle accelerator, they can do that because that's what we're doing in space. It's some bitch that's playing with particle accelerators in space. It's called cosmic accelerators. We're going to hear a bunch of people in the spiritual community start talking. So watch what's going to end up happening. Them, they're involved too. The virtual reality that they're putting on you, shit clicking in your ear, trying to grab at your breasts. Like my daughter keeps on complaining about somebody like trying to like force her legs open, like people touching her, because that's what they were playing with. Like, oh, we can have like bodies on the internet by like uploading your photo to like a specific matrix. And then in the matrix, it's like different electrons and shit like that blasting at you, but it's somebody tying it to your body in space. So that's what they thought was going to be the new pedophilia. I see. Thank you. So now, because you wanted to do that, you've seen how this works since you wanted to play. So now, what's stopping me from doing that? Aha, here we go. Cosmic accelerator, cosmic particle accelerators. They're just out there in space. They brought them down here. So bitches are building stuff like that. This is in my son's bedroom, and he uses it to like hide certain things. Like, oh, my mom won't see that I'm going to this other planet and like I'm eating with my other family, or like I'm bringing down like food, vegetables, and psychedelics. They're like teenagers. Like, when my mom was like, she doesn't like us shopping and doing too much. So I have this in my room so I can like teleport like shoes and stuff like that and clothes, especially the gorillas with crop tops. Teleporting. So a gorilla's not an ape, they're a Wakatasi, and they are actually like farmers. They grow specific herbs and things like that to repair your body. Yeah, so all your cells and atoms are going to start looking like this. Like, yeah, but okay, that's kind of too much for the body. How can the body contain all that? At one point, like it's called quantization. Like your body will just like reject more of it. No, it won't, because I put a spell on you to take as much as you can. So what that looks like is me putting a Higgs boson field around you, a gravitational force field around you. Certain things like okay, you'll get like added layers of skin. Your hair follicles will. Um, okay, that's very very good. Okay, good. I'm gonna use your biochemical pathways to carry all of it. Um, you basically get like a layer put on top of you. layer that gets put on top of you, it will carry like all the extra energy and just make sure that you get like taken off the planet. Okay, so all the extra, like, it's not going to stop. No, you just are just going to like expand to carry all of it. So if that means that you gain weight or you die from cancer like very quickly, that's great. Okay, particle accelerators in space, and then they were trying to like basically tie this down to planet. Okay, this is like something that my daughter would create. Like, oh, I have to beat this level in the game, so let me go build this particle accelerator in space and then tie it in the game. Yeah, let's. Oh yeah, more ideas like the movies and games. Yeah, and to get killed and arrested and getting your head kicked in raids and like why are they that violent though? Because of what they're seeing in autopsy reports. You deserve it. So some of you guys have seen Lisa Simpson. You guys have seen, yeah, this photo of Lisa Simpson. I used to have dreams like this when I was a kid. Like, okay, I'm here. Because they were playing with me like that when I was like, trying to build tensor spaces, and they have no idea I remember this. So this is a tensor space, and this is what they're doing with people's kids, and literally listening to music, and then they're making copies of you over there. A matrix, a 3D space, and then we go ahead and upload code and stuff like that here, and then we can go ahead and like get into your computer because something from space is like getting projected down into a quantized state and allowing us to have like extra energy or extra this or that to overpower to stop hacking and to like fudge investigations and start. Yeah, but you need a specific like amount of energy to make sure that the fission and the fusion can keep on happening. They need like a constant energy source. Yeah, but we're from Kemet, so Azteca, Cuatro. So all I need to do is just write out Ziggy Qualiade Qualini, right? And then all that happens is you now have a constant like energy source like Tai Chi, right? Okay, Kemet. Okay, why are you showing people this? Yeah, because they already had this going in ancient Kemet. I don't think people should see, right. Oh, they playing the Ethiopian. Yeah, they were building shit like this because they had no spiritual power. So all this they had, a lot of it just like broke and they hit a lot of it and like things like that. But this is like instructions, like, oh, this is how you build this. And even this they can't get now. They're so below this that's even done. Oh, okay, 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 right. So now we're starting to see like, okay, so basically math and science is witchcraft from space, and it's like kids' games. It's like kids' homework, right? And how like you grow certain like plants and these bosons, then we can get a specific type of psychedelic out of this plant and enhance her for agriculture. So these white people are sitting in the school getting PhDs and shit like that in nonsense and nonsense. So CERN, CERN particle accelerators and shit like that. Now Heisenberg problem. Heisenberg recognized because a wave is not located at one fixed point in space, there is an uncertainty associated with any electron's position. So I actually don't know what position the electron is in the radio probability distribution. I don't know if the electron is here, or there, because our tools. I can only try to project radiation into a specific chemical or compound, and then from there I can then go ahead and test that or test the refraction of light, the bounce back of light, or the absorption of light to see where the electrons are. Okay, and that's what they were doing, testing on different black and brown people to build the medical industry, which is why several people have died with clinical trial testing. Okay, but yeah, it didn't work. So now a wave is not located at one fixed point in space. Okay, so a wave is not located at one fixed point in space. So you basically found out they were releasing witchcraft throughout the physics and the science. So we can bring this up and say, but okay, why are you writing this then? Well, theoretically though, but then you're writing manifestos about black nigger bitches, and you need to break down a child, and then this is how you contact them from space, and then you will force their body to communicate because that's what they were talking about. Like, oh, if you kidnap these black and brown people, their body in space will be forced to give you magical powers and shit like that. And it's a bitch sitting with a voice changer on meth and crack and shit like that. Like, hello, we must tell you about your next about the next visit, and we will tell you about the next round. And orbital interference. Let's play with that. So orbital interference. Okay, wave function and wave patterns. Okay. So I know that there's like an orbit and that there's like a wave function of this specific like atoms and the electrons. But I can go ahead, I can play with the EMF, the electric magnetic field around your atoms. What I'm going to first do is I'm going to, let me see, around certain atoms in the body and even certain organs, I'm going to increase the electromagnetic field. And then I'm going to put a Higgs boson around that so I can bring in more particles from the outside in to like damage you. Guazi, thank you. As I'm doing this, my octopus is just like doing the magic because they've already set it up. Okay, because they're doing it in space on other people who are playing. So, okay, yeah, but if I throw off my orbitals, that means that it's going to throw off my ability to have like chemical reactions. So one atom can like get like thrown off with the wave, and then it won't be able to merge with like another atom to make specific biocompounds. And then I can get sick. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't I? So, okay, yeah, this is kind of complex. I don't know if my baby daddy deserves all that. He was just like not giving me child support and shit, but I'm listening. So now what's going to end up happening here is we're going to throw off that wave pattern and we're going to stop that, right? So when we throw off the wave function, it's going to also throw off the electrons' paramagnetism, aka their ability to create like a magnetism, which then will create like an electric field, because electricity and magnetism goes hand in hand. But I've turned off magnetism in a certain place, so no electricity, and I've turned off electricity, so no magnetism. What do I say? Yeah, but we need magnetic force in our computer, in our CPU, and in the solenoids. Solenoids, basically like curved, like metals, like in your CPU board. Like I've seen this in a computer. Okay, yeah, I broke my baby daddy's phone, and I saw this in the phone. I'm high tech. You are. You're indigenous. You're studying. I might go into electricity, Daisy. I have to pick one thing and do it. Yeah. So that means if you stop the EMF, if you deactivate the magnetism, electricity doesn't flow through this and make a conduction in the coil, and you just broke all of our fucking computers, right? Um, I'm so sorry. What? Well, good. So now, what we can also do is we can go ahead and play with wave functions, right? So that's one way that we're going to play with wave functions by destabilizing the wave in the orbitals that are going to destabilize the electromagnetic frequencies, because electricity and the magnets are made from these different particles that you've seen. This is really cute for kids to learn, right? So now what's going to end up happening here is we're going to go ahead and play with charm quarks. We're going to put more charm quarks in your field so that you attract more of a Higgs boson, and it like has like a specific type of standard expansion. And then also there's going to be a standard distribution so that you're going to put a statistic on me so that this field, this gravitational field you're putting around me is going to keep expanding. And then as it keeps expanding, it's going to bring in more particles, and then it's going to program those particles into antimatter. So then I get 100 trillion billion demons that come into form, like, oh, you're a perfect conduit. I'm turning you basically into a portal, right? Dark matter right here. So then I turn you into a portal, and then a billion, 100 million, trillion, billion demon comes in, and then he disseminates into 100 trillion, and then each of those 100 trillion disseminate into 100 billion trillion, and then each of those 100 trillion billion disseminate into 100 billion quasarrillion, and then into Bagwazanarian. Now, what's Bagwazanir? That's Bagwazanir is a specific serpent number sequence. And this is what we're going to call a certain serpent of chemistry. She's like this high priestess, like gray and Okay, good. So they're running all this magic. Thank you, Guazai. Good. This is an old war. Egg? Why egg? Egg? No, 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 no egg, no egg, no egg. What happened? Baby, egg? Yeah, she got caught playing with spell work. Now you're laying eggs? But I've seen snakes that give live birth. So, yeah, answer that. It's, well, holes have shown their hand on planet Earth. So, what eggs do I have? Thank you. How are you reproducing? It's called illegal reproduction. So, we have the eggs of like mutants and shit like that. And that's how we're reproducing and bringing these kids down here. This is a high priest. This is his like image. So, we're going to go with this high priest and play with him. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, her. Woo. Fuck. Yeah, her hand is goofy. Let me get this on my computer. Yeah, you ain't video game. Yeah, well, yeah. What are you doing? Yeah, talking like that. Because why am I talking anyways? She has number sequences really going to be astronomical and really getting your ass. She's the batter twin, right? So this high priest has chemical warfare. So we're going to keep on playing. Showing how what we're going to do is we're going to play with rate law. I'm in charge. So high priest. He's so cute. He's so sweet. He's gonna get this treat. He's so cute. He's so sweet. He's gonna get this treat. So this high priest, they're working for psychedelics because I created a bunch of new ones in space. I said, oh, this is pretty cool. So they're going to war like, oh, it's psychedelics, and then you enhance in your melanin and all your capacities. It's a great job. So you mean to tell me that you're recruiting different demonic ass like beings in space to play with spell work? How did I get involved? Psychedelics, my higher self. I know that she has something in space. You went to the doo because I was eating meat and then I fucked on the wrong nigga and I had a baby by him. Okay. How do I get you out of the doo? I can teleport you to this planet where you can recover. And then I have to stop all these different things. Okay, I'm gonna do that because you don't need to suffer, mommy. Because now I see why I'm suffering on planet Earth. It's gonna get that deep. So I landed in the doo because we had kids and you knew that in virtual reality and you were playing with Drake. Okay. Yeah. How does that sound? So now this high priest is bringing down a specific type of destabilization to their wave orbitals. Was that so? Then when the wave and particle, let me just go back into this wave functions. Wave functions. When the wave function gets destabilized, I'm going to go ahead and show that. This is Heisenberg principle. This is how they made atom bombs. We create destabilizations in the orbital field, and then we go ahead and pump with light or radiation more of this specific type of chemical to overpower the orbital. And then we change like the atom itself. And then we go ahead and we put reflectors and things like that. We then induce fission. And now we have a specific type of frequency for bombs. Wave. I just want to let you guys know to the white man that are also watching, the holes in space thought like, well, they're gonna get hit with this magic, but we won't tell them that's because of what we're doing because we were told to stop. So the only reason why you had this magic being done on you is because those holes were running your body, and they know that because they got hit with that magic, and remember they're playing with you, so the magic went onto you. Okay, this doesn't have like the proper image. Just wanted to kind of show you guys something. There's something that's going to come up with this, with you having these type of like spaces put in your ear. Like, oh, you're going to put tensor spaces over our body and our ear. That's what I'm basically building towards. And that's why you're bringing down all these gluons and all these quarks and all these different like particles and things like that. And you're charging them and promoting fission so that you can put a specific geometric shape over us that will be a field, a specific matrix. And then we can have different like wave formations going in and out of our body. Okay. Yeah, maybe I should have molested that little girl. She was like 4 years old. Here we go. Right. wave pattern one, wave pattern two, and this is basically saying like, oh, you're also bringing in the electromagnetic field here, and it's going to destabilize the wave function. So I'm going to bring an electromagnetic radiation around you that's going to destabilize your orbitals. And then what we can do then is like how we all the different particles of radiation around you. This high priestess serpent is going to put another magic on you so that you suck in all that radiation and those atoms, and then they start to change something called rate law of the chemical reactions in your body. So instead of your body like creating a specific type of like citric acid, like let's look into the citric acid cycle. What is this? Sunkissed or sunny delight? No, not really, but it's like basically how like the body like is creating like oxygen, not oxygen, ATP in the body. So you can basically say that you're going to pull this in, and that when I have this specific compound that's going to turn into this, it's not going to go ahead and turn into that or be created, because now the compound has been infiltrated at the most basic level, the atom. And this high priest, the serpent, is going to go ahead and change something called rate law. What is rate law? It says like in a chemical reaction, this goes first, that goes second, this goes third. Right. Okay, so there's A and then there's B and then there's okay, the order. Oh shit. So now instead of it going A, B, C, you've been destabilized and debilitated. So the electromagnetic field around you will open up that whole entire process and allow for you to say A and then X, which is radiation, and then B and then Y, radiation, and then C and then another X is more radiation. And then we change all compounds in your body and change your whole entire substance space. So instead of being made out of carbon and calcium and things like that, I'm going to be made out of some like demon substance in space because I was playing with spell work. Thank you. Good. And this is another thing that they did to like create slavery. Like, oh, as you're breathing in the air on your planet, it's going to go ahead and bring in this false chemical because we played with the major spiral and we made sure that at like spiral 2, spiral 4, and spiral 6, just here, spiral 2, spiral 4, spiral 6, right? This is just uh, like the orbitals. Thank you, Guazai. So basically, at each one of those spirals, they put like a specific chemical down from a different place. Tritium, deuterium, which is a different type of hydrogen. I didn't know that they had other type of hydrogen. I thought it was just one. So you mean to tell me that's what you mean by whole sitting in space and changing the middle of the hydrogen? They're changing it from hydrogen like 1 to hydrogen 2 or 3, which is very unstable. So when you breathe that in, we can try and make copies of your body elsewhere because we need this magic, or the pale one is going to go against our bodies. They'll find all of us all at once and they're going to start slaughtering us. And we put magic on them so that we can get into certain schools, get certain jobs, and we don't perform. And we lie so that our physical bodies can do this, and not a single one of our physical bodies can do this, which is where you get all this stuff with like, oh, give these Black kids this information and say that they found this invention. And then, look, we'll work with them in space with magic. And yeah, but they don't have a speech. And this one is already 14 doing sex work. Now I see why I've been seeing this in the media with these kids. Their families got involved in this with bullshit, playing with Kamala Harris, Alice from the Department of Defense, and all these dishonorable families, which is going to come up again with J. Cole. So now, here you go. We're going to go ahead and change your weight law, okay? So now when you have any type of chemical reaction, instead of going A, B, C, it's going to go A and then chemical in between, B, chemical in between, and change the entire compound. So forever will be changed. Okay. Yeah, maybe these children should go home. Maybe that's the perfect idea. And this is why you see all these different raids happening all at once. Yeah, because these kids been going missing. So is it just now that you decided to start doing raids? So now, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and stop that. And that's all I have for you guys. Happy 4th of July, okay? We're gonna go ahead and check in on this. There's something that has come out with a specific substance that we now own. We brought down this substance from this far place just to stabilize the internet because of all the hacking and tapping. They're going to go ahead and turn some of these coding languages off. And now Daisy has taught them about AST, show me your frame base, right? Like show me your frame. I want to see your parameters in your text or in your code. show syntax tree. So you get to see all the syntaxes that they're using, all the libraries that they're using. So you can go ahead and like I can see everything that you've been coding out. So we can go now and all these different companies that were like hacking our phone and playing on our Facebook and shit like that, and like getting into the hood and then getting people charged. We can tell them, I want to see the AST for my account, and they have to pull this all up in an instant. Yeah, because it goes into the past too with another a function, and you can see all the hacking code and tech that they've been putting on your computer. And I take this to Apple and say, I want to see the AST for computer, and that's it for anybody getting charged for computer crimes. Period. So your AST, show me your frame. I want to see like, the basic outline of your cybersecurity. Show me the face. I want to see the front end and what you're putting attached to like the different color spectrum with XYZ files so that you can use a specific color spectrum of a website to host a specific type of like vectors so that you can go back later into Kubernetes after cloning my database and hack my website and steal everybody's money, all the black and brown merchants. Done for. There's some people that stayed all the way up at night so they can come and this and like find out what's going on. And well, now it's done. All right, you guys. So that's what I had for the coding tutorial. I know it's like a little bit long, but we got through a lot of information, and this is going to make it to CERN and all these different like companies, Bell Labs, Lawrence Berkeley Labs, where they have people stored and putting them in the particle accelerator and disintegrating their entire body and thinking shit like that is funny to put like 2 year olds and 3 year olds in that type of technology. And like, oh well, they have learning disabilities for the rest of their life, and thinking shit like that is cute. So we've officially done this. So now I'm gonna do like an update. Give it like a week before we see a bunch of shit in the news about like different rare diseases, certain car crashes, people just dropping dead, and like a bunch of kids like getting found, and like something happening with me getting a bunch of emails. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps.